This an all-out blitz, real hard hits, them other podcast trash, we gon' make them all quit. We cover all the topics with intelligence and logic. I know you wanna score, but ID gon' stop it. We from Texas, so that mean that we Texans. Breaking down the X's and O's, our profession. No complaining, just training, you see the progression. They had a Pro Bowl for talk shows, we get selected. We gon' celebrate every win like a birthday. Ray J with the news, first with all the updates. Spin move on the competition, yeah, we juking them. You not really in touch if you not tuning in. This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. We want the touchdown, we not trying to go for 3. And it's best if you get up out the street, cause them bulls out the pen and they bout to stampede.
Houston Texans, what up?
What up?
What up?
What up?
What up?
What up?
Hey!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Texans Fan Battle Podcast. I'm your host today, Matthew Briggs. And always, I got my amazing trio, Mr. Crenshaw, my A1 since day one. Say what's up to folks.
What's the damn deal?
And as always, we have Mr. BT with us. Say what's up, BT.
What's going on, guys?
Guys, as you can tell, me and Chris are live here in Kansas City at the draft. So we're here to give all your draft needs. So far, there's been some rumors. BT, why don't you kick us off with some rumors?
Yes, so basically what it looks like is the pick was going to be Will Anderson at the second overall pick. And what happened in the past 30 minutes was that, according to sources basically on Twitter, that ownership got involved. So it was going to be Will Anderson. Then the other QB on the board, the second QB on the board was Will Levis. Ownership got involved and said that pick should be C.J. Stroud. So basically, what was going to happen, it was going to be either Anderson or Tyree because they were going to go defensive end first. Then when they said we want to go quarterback, it was essentially going to be Will Levis. Ownership said no, and now we have, or supposedly we'll have Stroud. So in just a few moments here, we should see Bryce be taken first overall. And then a few moments after that, 10 minutes after that, we should have our quarterback of the future, guys. All this heartache may be ending relatively soon because we're all wondering what's going to happen with the second overall pick. I'm going to pat myself on the back here and just say, I did predict that ownership would get involved, and it looks like that's exactly what happened. And I couldn't be happier at this point.
Okay, so
Just to give you the name of the person that reported this, it was Benjamin Solak. Benjamin Solak is an NFL staff writer. He works for The Ringer. And so this is the guy that broke the story. There were other reports, it wasn't just him, but he's the one that actually broke it down that the quarterback that would have been taken if ownership didn't get involved would have been Will Levis. And that's if they took a quarterback because they were originally going to go with just a defensive end. So that's the story that we have right now breaking.
So how out of 0 to 10, how do you feel about CJ as the quarterback?
So I think that, I definitely had my concerns in the offseason, right? And I watch games, I watch Ohio State, and one of my concerns with him was not just a film, it was basically how he behaves, right? I'm sorry, not how he behaves, how Ohio State behaves, how their structure is. So what happens is he has the best wide receiver core in college. He has the best O-line in college. Ryan Day has an offense that is pretty simplified. You go through progressions, but it's a simplified offense. He threw to his first read 73% of the time. And when he was under pressure, he didn't do great. So when he was in the pocket, he was the most accurate quarterback in college. When he was under pressure, he was something like the 27th. So he struggles under pressure. With all that said, I do believe he's the second quarterback with the options that we have. As you know, I believe that Anthony Richardson is the best quarterback in this draft. I am not the general manager, and therefore we're not drafting him. But I do believe that Stroud will work in this system. I believe that in addition to having Stroud work in the system, I think that one, I know that Crenshaw, this is something you always bring up. It's going to ignite the fan base. That's one. But number two, we have a hella accurate passer, and hopefully we'll get JSN. If we get JSN, we'll bring the band back together, and I think we'll actually see a pretty decent offense.
Okay, so is it going to ignite the fan base in a good way or a bad way? Because everyone's going to bring up David Malagutta. So
I think people are freaking out about David Malagutta. First of all, Quincy Avery actually was talking about this today, and someone actually asked him, "Do you guys hate the Texans?" And he specifically said that was never the case. There was no hate between David Malagutta, Quincy Avery, that whole crew. Deshaun Watson, who, by the way, was doing a Twitter space today, was talking about his experiences. But basically, there was never any issue. The problem there, I think, is really more fan base because we all have a thing against Deshaun Watson, and rightly so. The big problem about it is that Deshaun Watson left us, and he didn't even play on the contract, the big contract that we gave him. The sexually, I have to say allegedly, I guess, allegedly sexually assaulted 26 women. So, the bottom line is that Deshaun Watson never played a down on that contract. And so we did not like David Malagutta. But the bottom line is that's on Deshaun, not David Malagutta, not Athletes First, not Quincy Avery. It was on Deshaun Watson. So it's time to move on from that. And it's time to simply say, it doesn't matter who someone's agent is. The minute that you start thinking about who someone's agent is, the minute you've lost a negotiation tactic.
So this is the time for us to get the quarterback, right? I mean, you got four potential picks, so time to move on, right?
Yeah, I think this is the time that you get your franchise quarterback. It is the perfect time. So basically, right now, what I predict is that with the new D'Amico system on offense, we're going to go to zone blocking. We're going to go to a West Coast system, which means that you are going to prioritize the run or a little more balanced. It's not going to be like a 60-40, but you are going to start off with the run. You're going to use a short pass game as an extension of the run. You're going to utilize play action. So with all these things being said, and the pickups that we made in free agency, the defense that we also have, I think you're going to have 7 wins. And the moment that you get 7 wins, you can be at the 13th overall pick, and you're no longer in position to draft a quarterback in 2024. Drake May, Caleb Williams, even Quinn Ewers, that's no longer possible. So we have to draft a quarterback now. And I understand some people don't like it because they still want Davis Mills to get a chance because they feel like it was unfair. But I'm sorry, life isn't fair. It's time to move on.
Okay, so if they go CJ, which they should, and they go JSN, would this be the first time a quarterback and a wide receiver went in the same draft ever?
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting you say that. We haven't had a lot of quarterback receivers like came in the same draft. But what we did have? We have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. We have Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts. I mean, we have about 5 or 6 quarterbacks that played with their wide receiver in college, now playing in the NFL, and it's working out great for them. And so I think it's a no-brainer that if you draft CJ Stroud, you draft JSN. Give him the immediate connection that he has. Give him a top wide receiver. I understand some people believe that there are better receivers, whether that's Quentin Johnson or Zay Flowers, but I believe that JSN is the pick that you make at 12 if you take CJ Stroud at 2. And that's what I think should happen. Well, will it happen? I don't know. But that's definitely what I think should happen.
Let me ask you a question. Are you anyone disappointed that you're not going to get Bryce? I know you wasn't a Bryce guy all season, but since today is the day, are you anyone disappointed?
To tell you the truth, I actually think that everything worked out as it should. To tell you the truth, like I'm not upset that we didn't get Bryce. I think that C.J. Stroud is a phenomenal quarterback. He's going to work out great for us. As you know, one of my biggest issues has always been size, right? For Bryce, and we don't have to worry about that. I understand that he may work out to be an excellent quarterback, but we don't have to worry about the size anymore. So to me, things worked out like they should. It was a very stressful time for the Texans fan base, but at the end of the day, I think what we're going to see here is we're going to get C.J. Stroud. And believe it or not, as some people may not realize this, C.J. Stroud was number one on a lot of teams' boards because of Bryce Young's size. And so even though he was not QB1 on our board right off the bat, he's going to be a QB I predict.
Let me ask you, let me ask you a question. Bryce Young for sure number one, or could be a curveball.
Did you say, like, do I think someone's going to trade up for number one? I think that's what you asked.
Number one, or it's going to be a curveball.
Oh, do I think there's no? It's going to be Bryce Young. It's pretty much a guarantee at this point. Bryce Young going up there is now a formality. The wild card, honestly, would be us. Right now, it looks like we should get Stroud. That's the pick. That's what's coming out of Quincy Avery has said that, and he's the quarterback coach. The betting odds are crazy as well. Like I think it's like negative 2,000 now for CJ Stroud to be the pick at 2. So I don't think there's any chance in hell that we see an upset for pick 1. The only chance I see is pick number 2 because the Texans are nuts, and we know that. But I do believe it's going to be Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, 1 and 2.
Well, you spoke wild card. Number 3 could be a wild card, right? Like nobody knows what's going on there. Right?
So the current rumor is that the Titans have been working on a trade up to pick number 3, and that pick is going to that trade is going to consist of DeAndre Hopkins. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work. What the latest reports were that the trade was not solidified. They were working on it, and they were going to wait till the last minute. So they're currently negotiating as the last reports came out. I am looking to make sure that I am up to date on everything so far. I haven't seen any news for that 3rd pick, but we could be looking at the Titans trading up to number 3. And some people are reporting that it's going to be a quarterback, and some people are reporting that it could be Jalen Carter. So the wild card there is the number 3 may not be a quarterback. It could be Jalen Carter right there.
Okay, so it looks like it is official. Bryce Young is going to Carolina. And let's see if all the cards point to CJ. Now, if we don't get CJ right now, BT, are you going to be okay?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
I was saying, if we don't get CJ number 2, are you going to be okay?
No. No, I won't be okay. I'll set something on fire. We got to get.
Hey, we will get a lot of views, but do not go crazy, okay? Do not break TVs. Who's up?
No, I will legit go crazy if we don't get a quarterback at this point. It makes no sense for us not to. Ownership got involved, like I said, and so at this point, it's all a matter of a formality, unless there's another last minute thing, right? That's the one wild card that Texans are always going to have is this a last minute thing that can go on? So that's the one thing that is concerning, but I will say that it doesn't seem like that. The funny part is, though, I have talked to a few people about this, and there are a few people that are saying that ownership did not get involved. Some people are saying ownership didn't get involved. That's going to be conflicting, and I don't think we're ever going to get any sort of clarity on that. The people that are saying that ownership was not involved are friends of the organization that don't want to make the organization look a certain way, and the people that are saying that ownership did get involved, are either independent or have another point of view. So I don't know if we'll ever get clarity on that.
So why are people upset if ownership is getting involved? I mean, it's his team. He knows what he wants, and it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked all these other years. So why not have a voice? You know, why not show fans? Okay, you want a quarterback? Okay, we need a quarterback. We need someone. Okay, basically, we go to the games for the players. Just keep it a
Right.
buck. We go to the games for the players. That's what we want to see play. And I think CJ is a. I'm gonna say he's a safe pick. I'm gonna say he's a good pick. I say he's a safe pick, and he can be what we want him to be in this system. He can play underneath the center, shotgun, get him weapons. Why he can't be successful? There's gonna be a lot of fans upset about it because people want to go defense at the pick right here. But I think it's a good pick. I think it's a good pick. I can't say too much until it's official. But I think it'll be a good pick.
So the reason why a lot of fans, and I can't even say a lot, but some fans are upset, is because they believe that ownership should leave the football decisions to the people that were hired to make football decisions. The problem with that, however, is that you have a situation where, based on what I'm hearing, is that there's still quite a bit of dysfunction going on in the building, and we've seen reports that the building has been split on CJ Stroud or defense, and I think ownership had to get involved here to kind of set the stage, because if you have some of the coaching staff, including the general manager at that point, some of the staff wanting a quarterback and some of them not, who else is supposed to get involved? Now so I think they basically had to do that. I also think that we saw a lot of rumors recently that Caserio was not going to be here for very long. And Casario went on a press conference and said that, I'm not fucking leaving. But the rumors persist. And I actually believe that Casario will not be here after this season. And I think because we believe that, because if they believe that, they have to get involved, because now you're talking about a general manager that if he's not here, he's making picks that he's not going to be accountable for. And so I think that you have no choice but to get involved when you have a general manager that may not be here at the end of this year. And I think that ownership does have to get involved, and I think that's a positive thing. It's time to move our franchise forward. And if one person, and that person happens to be the general manager, may not be here, whether that's by choice or not by his choice, ownership does have to take this by the balls, and I'm glad they're doing so.
What you just said, BT, make a lot of sense. I know you've been throwing that theory around, and people don't believe that Nick is going anywhere, but I think he is going somewhere. I don't think he's happy with the direction that he wanted the team to go. So it does make sense to, look, I'm going to dictate what I want to do. But who do you think will be a good candidate to take Nick's spot, or is too early to talk about that?
I think that, it's kind of early. I think that he may go back to the Patriots. I didn't think that he was going to. But basically, we don't know yet. The bottom line is we don't know yet. Most likely he can go over to the Patriots. I wouldn't say that that's a lock, though, because we're talking about next year. And next year, things could change, right? Like between now and next year, he may not just want to go back to the Patriots. There could be another general manager job that opens up where he's got a better opportunity, where perhaps he's not going to go in such a bad situation like he came in over here. And he may think that he can still be his own guy. He doesn't have to crawl back with his tail between his legs to Bill Belichick. And he could find that opportunity. And I think that right now it's still too early because we don't know what general manager positions are going to be open.
Bryce Young.
And here we go.
One down.
Bryce Young is a Carolina Panther.
BT, can you break down Bryce Young for us?
Yeah, Bryce Young is an excellent quarterback. The only knock on him is his size. The issue that a lot of people have really is just his size. You can have a little bit of knock on his strength of his arm. Some people say that once he goes past 40 yards, perhaps 50 yards, that it kind of tails off. However, you're not really throwing at 40, 50 yards often enough. The greatest thing about Bryce Young is that he can pick apart a defense. He is the fastest processor in the draft, and I think that what the Panthers are going to see is I think they're going to reap the benefits. The real knock on him is he going to be to stay healthy 3-4 years from now? I think he'll have a good career as long as he can stay healthy, and that's really going to be the big issue. But this was really a no-brainer. I know some people thought that, hey, they might change it at the last minute and get AR, but no, it was Bryce Young. It was always Bryce Young, and that's really all it was ever going to be.
Okay, well, hey, makes sense. I wanted Bryce Young real bad. I'm a little disappointed myself, but I can't blame nobody but us for winning that Week 18 matchup.
I mean, you can blame Lovey, but
I mean, I can't even blame Lovey. It was just a fluke, man. I think the Colts did it on purpose.
yeah, it was the Colts' fault.
Yeah, it's the Colts' fault. It's the Colts' fault.
I mean, I'll tell you this. You cannot blame Lovey.
Just let you know, guys, we have a special guest from the Horseshoe Mom.
Hey, what's up?
The reason why we have the number 1 pick or number 2 pick.
Yeah. So let me just put this up here real quick. So basically, yeah, I mean, I think he's going to excel there. And now, honestly, I just care about us at this point. He was always going to be here. That was always going to happen. I do believe that when Carolina traded up to the first overall pick, they had CJ Stroud in their sights. All the reports say that was exactly what happened, and Bryce Young won them over. So they were considering CJ Stroud as their QB1, and as time went on, they decided that they were going Bryce Young. So that's an instance where, it's almost like the 49ers, it's almost a Mac Jones, Trey Lance story all over again. Except this wasn't necessarily last minute. The reports are that Bryce Young was the pick by the Carolina Panthers. They knew a long time ago that this was going to happen. This was not a last minute pick like many people may believe. This was something that Carolina knew, weeks in advance at this point. He won that job during those interviews.
Well, put it like this: if CJ is the pick next, I guess as 2 scores don't mean as much, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if we get CJ Stroud right now, in my opinion, who cares about Week 18? I know some people really wanted Bryce over CJ Stroud, but I didn't. And so, just speaking selfishly for me, I have to say that I think this is actually going to work out in our favor. Listen, Bryce is definitely the better processor, but CJ has the better mechanics. CJ has the size, so you don't have to worry about that. CJ also, if we get Jason, they'll have that connection, and I believe that's a really strong possibility.
The pick is in, right?
Oh, yeah. So Stroud went 2.
CJ Stroud is
CJ Stroud. It's the pick. It's official.
I don't see it official yet.
All right. Come on.
I'm just seeing will select, but not have selected. Okay, it's official now.
It's official. All right.
CJ Stroud.
Okay.
A Texan.
VT. All right. Break down Coleridge a little bit for the Texans fans out here. Break them down, man.
So CJ Stroud is the best processor. I'm sorry, is the best, has the best mechanics in this class. Like as I was just saying about Bryce Young, he's the best processor, but CJ Stroud has the best mechanics. One of the things that separates him from every other quarterback is that when he goes through his progressions, unlike other quarterbacks that go through the read and then set their feet, he actually sets his feet as he goes through his reads. So when he makes that read, when he knows where he wants to throw that ball, he's ready to throw it right away. So it means that he has a quick release. and which also means that he avoids sacks. So he doesn't have to take a lot of sacks, right? So that's his positive. The negative is that he hasn't done great under pressure. So he's, in terms of accuracy, he's actually been number one when the pocket's clean, and I believe the number's 27 when the pocket has when he's faced pressure. So I think that's going to be his number one challenge, is that he's going to have to fix that, and I think that that's something that is what Lovey Smith, my God, what D'Amico Ryans and Bobby Slowick is going to work on with him. That's going to be the number one thing.
They're about to announce it now.
All right, they're going to officially announce it now.
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Houston Texans. We have our quarterback.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I am very, very happy that we finally got our a potential franchise quarterback. This was a very, very stressful offseason.
Yes, it was.
I think that most people can say at this point that they expected to go defensive end, and this was a last-minute decision. And like I said, I don't think you're ever going to get clarity on exactly how that happened. There's always going to be different reports about that. But, here's one thing I like. Colts fans are upset that they couldn't get him. So, fuck Colts. Fuck the Colts. That's all I want. So I just wanted to say that, that's awesome. I have like 5 of my friends asking me if I'm happy, and I can't really reply right now because I'm on a live stream. But yeah, but yes, some of them are watching. So yes, I'm happy. Yes, my boy Brian, it's about time, man. It's about time. We finally got our quarterback. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Let me ask you guys, how do you feel? I know that Crenshaw, you wanted Bryce Young. How do you feel that we have CJ Stroud as a quarterback coming this season?
I watch highlights. I listen to you. I feel like that he's just he's a 1B. Bryce is 1A, he's 1B. So you can't go wrong with him. The only thing I didn't like how you said that he goes to his first read. What you said, 73% of the time.
Yes.
That's the only thing I don't like. But a lot of quarterbacks do that. I mean, a lot of quarterbacks just zone in on their number one wide receiver. I mean, D-Hop, when he was here, they zone on him at all times. I feel like if you get him weapons, add more weapons to him, I think it's going to be a beautiful thing. I think you can't go wrong. It's good competition for Davis Mills. I think he should beat Davis Mills out, and he should be the number one quarterback week 1. So I can't wait, man. I'm ecstatic right now. I'm pumped. Hey, man, let's go Texans.
Get your weapon. Get your weapon at 12.
Yeah, I think you do. I think you're taking your weapon at 12. Just to go off what you said, Crenshaw, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to be Davis Mills in camp. I mean, that's not even a question, right? So, we can go ahead and just put a lock on CJ Stroud starting week 1. Texans fans, hope you're happy. I know that there was a lot of Davis Mills supporters coming out. There's a lot of people that wanted a defensive end. I was actually more people than I thought would come out of the woodworks not wanting a quarterback. This draft came out. And I think a lot of it was because of all the rumors saying that we wouldn't take a quarterback. So I am curious, by the time that we get to 12, how many people are going to be celebrating our next quarterback? Because I can tell you right now, he looks good in that Texans hat, boy.
Oh, yeah. And, BT, I got a question for you, BT.
Yeah.
The people that was saying who was going edge, should I go back and put LOL underneath their tweets, or I should leave it alone?
I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm a petty ass motherfucker, so you know me, I would do it. But but all I want to say is, man, we got our quarterback. Thank God for ownership. They're doing the right thing. And now it's a matter of, what are we going to do at 12? Are we going to get that wide receiver? Are we going to go edge? I can see them doing both things, right? We could, believe it or not, depending on the way the board falls right now, we could still end up getting another corner or a safety. Or we could trade down. So there's a lot of options here. A lot of options.
Hold on, VT. Keep talking. CJ talking.
Okay.
Okay. He was saying he was.
Yeah. So what's really the important thing now is what's going to happen at 12. We got the quarterback of the future. That was the number one goal of mine because, like I said, there was no way in hell that we're going to be bad enough to get a quarterback next year. And I was a huge Caleb guy too.
We just traded up. Yes, sir.
They get Will Anderson.
Yes.
They about to get Will Anderson, man.
The Cardinals are trading the number 3 overall pick to the Texans. Houston is back on the clock.
So you think it's Will Anderson or you think
So
it's
it could be
Tyree
Will
Wilson?
Anderson.
Or
It
Tyree
could be
Wilson?
Will Anderson. We are on the clock, fellas. So let's see. I think, at 3. We're on the clock at 3. I think, if we're getting CJ Stroud, and the question is how much do this cost?
Hey, VT.
Yes.
This the most exciting in the Texans draft I think ever.
Ever. So, what's the capital? What do we give up?
Don't know yet. Has it come out? I'm looking right now, and I haven't seen. All I'm saying is Texans trade off the 3rd overall. The pick is, per source, Will Anderson. So you can say it's probably Will Anderson. Aaron Wilson is reporting it's Will Anderson per source. So we have multiple reports. It's not just him. So it will be Will Anderson. Just not official yet. So we are getting arguably you could say QB1 or QB2, the second best quarterback in the class and the best edge in the class. I think that's amazing. It looks like we got Nick making calls. We've got a lot of shit going on at this point. So this is definitely interesting. And I think they're going to finalize it here in a moment. They have the trade going on. I'm not seeing any details of what the trade actually is.
Hey, this just in. Colts fans are very upset that we are traded up. Chris from the Horseshoe Mob is trying to fight back his tears. He has to face Will Anderson and CJ Stroud 2 times a year. Chris, how's it feel?
Man, you don't think I give a fuck? Like, what are you talking about?
So I'm looking at the live video for in Houston, and I got to tell you, it looks like the fans are very happy with the CJ Stroud pick. You might get some vocal Twitter contrarians, but most fans are happy with the pick. I'm very excited. Let's see what the trade capital is. That I have not seen that yet. Okay, so here are the value of the picks. So we set the 12th and 33rd and a 2024 first round pick. So we sent the 12th overall, the 33rd overall, the 2024 first and third round picks to Arizona for the 3rd and 105th picks this year. Holy fuck, that's a bomb ass trade. That's huge. That's huge. So I'm going to repeat that because that's complicated. The 12th, the 33rd, and the 2024 first and third round picks. We're giving up a first. a
Was it?
second, a first, and a third.
So what was the capital?
That's crazy. Did you hear all that?
That's a lot. So you think that's too much?
We're basically giving two firsts. That's a lot, man. That's
what I'm thinking.
that's two firsts, a second, and a third. I guess one's a swap, but it is official. Will Anderson is a selection. Will Anderson is a Houston
You want
Texan.
dessert? No, I forgot.
So it is.
You want dessert?
So yeah. So Will Anderson
You want
is
dessert?
a Houston Texans. It is official. Again, this is a blockbuster trade of setting the 12th.
It's gonna be late.
I'm going to mute you for a moment. If you guys want to talk, unmute yourself. I just muted you.
Okay.
So
I'll call you back in a little bit.
So basically, everybody's happy now. You got a quarterback, you got an edge, right?
You got an
Everybody's
edge. So I don't know.
happy, right?
I don't know. The only people that are going to be angry are the Davis Mills guys that are like, "Fuck, Davis Mills is not going to be a starter." But that's about it.
Yep.
So I don't know how you could be unhappy.
Okay. BT.
Yes.
There you go.
Since we gave up 33, and let's pick a 65, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you see them going up over 65 or stand at 65?
I think the trade. I want to say that they should trade up, but the thing is, they just gave up a ton of capital for this. I think they might have to stay put, but I'm not gonna say that's a guarantee. They give a lot for Will Anderson, man, and he has to pan out. There are people that believe that a lot of it was scheme. Like, listen, he has more pressures than anyone else in Alabama history, right? So, it wasn't all scheming here. But he's 6'3.5", he's 253 pounds. The dude is not necessarily the prototypical edge that in your scheme you typically want someone that's 270 pounds. So he's a little smaller, but he does have speed, and that speed is what they're looking for. And I think that D'Amico got his guy. I think Bobby Slowick got his guy. All in all, offense and defense got some of the best picks in the draft. You really can't complain on the selection wise. The only complaint you can really say is the amount of capital that we gave up.
All right. So, what do you think they should attack next? Should they go wide receiver, center, or linebacker?
I'm going to say center. So they didn't choose JSN, so obviously they did not. I think what they should do is go center right now. Why? Why center over receiver? Because even if you have JSN, you cannot, or even if you have a good receiver at 65, you cannot do anything without protection. Right now we have Scott Quisenberry and Michael Dietrich. Those are not centers. We're not going to be able to get JMS. That's done. So we're not going to get Tipman. That's done. So the two best centers are off the board for us. So we're going to have to go up the third best center. We may go center later, but we're looking at Whippler probably right now. So what I would do if I was them is take Luke Whippler, because if you don't have a center, you can't get any offense out. So to me, the priority right now is center. Once you go center, then you can go offense, and then you can go skill positions to wide receiver, running back, and then whatever else you need after that. BPA basically. But I think they have to go center with their next pick.
Thank you so much.
By Bryce Young going number one, and everyone that was saying that size, height, does that make them look foolish, or what they said is still justified?
For Bryce Young, we won't know, honestly, right? Like, we won't know what happens until I would say 1 or 2 years from now. Even if he gets injured and stuff right now, that is not the question. The thing that most people were concerned about is, will he have the longevity, right? Because even if he's fantastic or he gets hurt, what's going to happen year 3, year 4, year 5 for him? And the thing is, he didn't have a cannon to begin with. So if he gets injured and if he gets injured repeatedly, he didn't have a cannon. If he hurts his shoulder, which he already did at Alabama, if he hurts it again, will his arm strength decrease even more? Because it was already not necessarily strong. It was just sufficient. So that's the real question here: is what will be the
Will
role
Levis.
of Bryce Young?
Anthony Richardson.
Wow.
Coach got AR.
Let's go. Anthony Richardson. Let's go. Yes. Let's get it.
So three quarterbacks in the
All
top.
right,
Let's go.
this is definitely an exciting draft here.
There's no way that they were going to go. Now, Will Levis is going to fall to the Titans. Let's go. Let's go.
So the Colts have now selected Anthony Richardson. So we're going to have to play against him.
Let's go.
I'm not too happy about that.
Yeah. Well, that's why they got Will. That's why they got Williams.
So far, the quarterbacks have gone.
You know what that means? Pick 11. Will Levis will be.
Let me just say this: I put my mock draft. My last mock draft has gone pretty much as I suspected. Right, Bryce Young to the Panthers, C.J. Stroud to the Texans, Will Levis to the Titans, or if they pick him, and then Colts getting Anthony Richardson. All I gotta say is listen to me, motherfuckers. That's all I'm gonna say. Listen to me. I told you ownership was gonna get involved. I told you where the quarterbacks were gonna go. Give me my goddamn flowers. I'm happy for Anthony Richardson that he's actually was the third quarterback selected. He definitely deserves it. He's a crazy talent. My favorite quarterback in the draft. Sucks that we're going to have to go up against him twice a year. People are going to make fun of him on his first year, and we all know that he's not going to be be what I think he's going to be his first year. But watch him year 3. And what's interesting is that we're going to have, right as of now, Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, and Trevor Lawrence. This division is no longer going to be a poverty division. We're actually getting quarterbacks, fellas. The AFC South is going to be way different.
Do you see the Titans? You see the Titans making
I did not put the Titans in there, did I? I just said 3 of them. But in all honesty, Will Levis is not. Will Levis is not going to be like a bad quarterback, but he's got a lot of work to do too. His problem isn't that he has a ton of mechanic. He has mechanic issues, but he doesn't have as many as Richardson. His biggest problem, honestly, is his attitude. His attitude is that he can beat anyone at any time, and so he almost never throws the ball away. Will Levis thinks that he is going to beat every single defender every single time, so he's willing to take the sack. There's a reason right now, if you look up his stats, why he has negative 100 yards. The reason that he has negative 100 yards for the year is because he continually takes sacks instead of throwing the ball away. He has the legs to get out of the pocket, and so he can get rid of the ball. But instead, he uses his legs, and instead of throwing the ball away, he tries to see if he can just beat the defender. And you can't. You have to live to. You have to fight to live another day. One of the things that people complain about with Anthony Richardson is his accuracy. But when you look at Anthony Richardson under pressure, he takes the least amount of sacks under pressure than any other quarterback. So that's one of the things that's amazing about Anthony Richardson is that he'll throw the ball away. He's like, all right, fuck it. I'll take the down. I'm not taking the sack because taking that sack is negative yards, obviously. So that's something that Will Levis is going to have to do. But right now we've got Seahawks. And I'm trying to see if I can find any information on who the Seahawks are going to select. I'm going to say right now that I'm going to throw out that my guess right now is Jalen Carter. But we got our guy, and Tennessee Titans fans right now are thinking that they've got Levis. But right now the Seahawks are on the clock. Who are your predictions for the Seahawks?
Got my mute?
Yeah, you're on me.
I think they should go quarterback right here, but they got the luxury right now. They didn't pay Geno Smith. I think they should go Jalen Carter. No, Jalen Carter. If not Jalen Carter, they should go the Gonzalez kid out of Oregon.
Joey Porter.
Joey Porter. I think the Gonzalez kid, man.
Either one. There's also Porter
Yeah.
with Adams and Woolen. You're bringing back the Legion of Boom, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you gotta go quarterback.
Yeah, I just think that I don't know if they're going to go quarterback here. I mean, they're kind of like a win now team, right? So I can see them actually going just Carter and just and pick it up on defense, because who are they going to pick? As at this point they're going to pick Levis. I don't know if they're high on Levis. So what I think what's going to happen is that they will take a quarterback, but they'll do it say at the 20th pick. They might pick up Hooker if he's still there. That makes a lot of sense for the Seahawks because they have Geno Smith, right? So if they pick up Hendon Hooker at the 20th overall pick, they can have Geno Smith keep going on. And then basically what's going to happen there is the minute that they can kick out Geno Smith when Hendon Hooker is available. So I don't think they should go quarterback. Go Jalen Carter. Get that man his pick. Stop arguing about that those off the field shit. Get Carter on board and get your quarterback at pick 20. I'll throw it off to you guys on whether or not you think I'm right.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think that's what they should do. But like I say, they just got the luxury right now because they got the 2 first-round picks, so they can really do anything they want to do right now. And it won't be a wrong pick or whatnot. But I'm just still going crazy of what we just done, man. They're just so aggressive, big balls right there, man, and like that's unlike the Texans. I'm getting some of the text messages that said, "Is this the same team right here?" Because I'm not used to y'all doing good things in the draft. So I'm still excited about that.
Now, I mean, maybe we're right? Maybe Kasseri knows his job's on the line, so why not swing for the fences? You know what I mean?
I think you have a combination.
him.
I think you got a combination that he knows his job is on the line. He knows that and potentially he's trying to decide whether he wants to stay or not. Why not swing for the fences? What's he got to lose potentially, right? What's the worst thing going to happen? So I think also the fact that ownership is also getting involved too, I think is awesome. I think it shows that the entire organization is behind having a winning season for once. Like, when was the last time we had a fucking winning season? God damn it. So I gotta say, for everyone saying, "Oh, ownership should not be involved," fuck you. Like, thank God they got involved because we're having the draft because of them. All right, the Seahawks said the pick is in. I haven't seen what it is.
We got to see right now.
All right, so let's see what. So I think it's going to be Jalen Carter. Let's see. All right, they're still not saying. Texans fans are happy. They're calling Nick Big Dick Nick again. So that hasn't happened in quite a while.
All right, here come the pick.
All right, so it looks like they're picking a quarterback. They are picking Devin Witherspoon. So he is the first corner off the board. So
Who did Jeremiah have the Seahawks picking?
Devin Witherspoon.
Who's that?
Devin Witherspoon.
He's 5 for 5. No, he had called Levis. Never mind.
I'm sorry, I thought you were asking right now, like, what was the pick? My bad. Um, so the first corner off the board is Devin Witherspoon. I actually thought it could have been Christian Gonzalez. So it looks like my prediction on the first corner was wrong. It is Devin Witherspoon. So that's an interesting pick. I thought it was from they should have gone Christian Gonzalez for the first corner, or Jalen Carter, and they
So,
did neither.
so
So
Devin Witherspoon, that's a Lovey Smith guy right there.
I mean, he's going to play his own, a lot, but this is a good pick for them because their biggest issue is defense. It was that secondary. They couldn't really
ESPN,
stop
I
the
think,
run. So this is a good pickup for them.
for the ESPN app.
So yeah, I mean, he's not necessarily the tallest. He's 5'11",
It might be on CBS too. I'm not sure.
but he's definitely it's definitely a good pickup for him. Um, did you think that he was going to be the first corner off the board? Because like I said, I thought it was going to be Christian Gonzalez.
I thought it was gonna be Gonzalez as well. Well, since we own Witherspoon, what you got on him?
Um, One of the things about Devin Witherspoon is that his athleticism is really what got him there. A lot of people say that that's what is better on him than Christian Gonzalez, is his athleticism. So yes, he does not have that height because he's only 5'11". I believe right around 180 pounds. But they wanted that athlete, and I think that's what they're going to get out of him. The difference with Christian Gonzalez is that he can. Christian Gonzalez is basically he could toward his body a certain way, but Devin Witherspoon is just fast. And when you got that speedy corner, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to go after the wide receiver one. So, yeah. So I'm just going to read off his stats here. It's 159 tackles, 11 and a half sacks, 11 and a half tackles for loss, and 5 interceptions. So definitely an interesting pick from Seahawks. Not one I predicted. Not one I predicted at all. So they're saying that his comp is Denzel Ward. So that's definitely going to be a great pickup for them.
Denzel Ward. Okay, okay. Yeah. Well, that's not bad. I mean, I think he's all right. I don't think he's all that, but okay.
I mean, Denzel Ward is a great corner. I think that I think it's a good pick. I think that what they should do is they should pick Hooker at 20. If they pick Hendon Hooker at 20, I think that they just solved basically their future because Geno Smith is aging. He's only going to be there for another 2 years, basically. Now you get Hendon Hooker, who doesn't have to play a snap this year. He can sit down and heal. You don't got to rush him. Now he is older. Obviously, that is an issue, but I do believe that for the value, getting him at 20 isn't bad for the Seahawks. And getting him at 20 also means that if they happen to be in a position to get another quarterback the following year, they don't have to, really cry about it. They can take another quarterback if they so choose. So it's not a bad option if they want to have a fifth-year option on Hendon Hooker, and basically get this done. Let's look at some of the comments here. So yeah, we are seeing Texans fans being very, very happy. All right, so here's Matt Milano if he's still there. Matt, so what are your thoughts on the haul, and do we know if it's the Browns pick? So it is the 12th overall pick, the 33rd overall pick, the 2024 first overall pick, and we don't know. I didn't say whether that's ours or the Browns, and the 2024 third round pick. We don't know which of that it is yet, but either way, I think it's a huge haul, and it remains to see if that haul is worth it, frankly. But is a player great? Yeah, the player's fucking nasty. So there's nothing I can say about the selection. It's really about the trade, and we'll find out if that trade was worth it.
I'll just make sure it doesn't. I'll just type it in. Make sure it doesn't.
You hear me?
We're here to go, baby.
Yeah.
We're here to go.
Hey, well, BT, if you look at it, really, I mean, if it's the Browns pick next year for the first and the third, we only gave up the 33rd pick. Yeah, that's why I look at it. Because the other picks we got from Brown, that's just a luxury pick. So
Yeah.
how you feel about that?
If you look at it that way, I mean, I never look at it that way because to me, the way that I look at it is that we traded up to get Deshaun Watson, and then we obviously utilized a pick to get Deshaun Watson. We gave up 2 picks to get him, so we those are our spent picks to get Deshaun Watson, and so we got picks back when we traded him. And to me, the picks that we got back were all the picks that there's a trade. So there's a trade that the Cardinals
Cardinals just traded up
to the
6.
Lions, and it is number 6, 12, and 34.
They're going Will Levis.
That'd be great. Jalen Carter.
Yeah. They
Well,
probably
I think it's Carter.
Yeah,
I think it's Carter.
Yeah, it's Carter. It gotta be Carter.
So this has been an interesting freaking first round. I gotta tell you, this is crazy. Yeah, so the picks are again, it's the number 6th, 12th, and 34. So Arizona has
They gave up more than us. Then if you look at it like that,
yeah. I mean,
because it's everything at 2023, right? 6, 12, 34, right?
it does. I mean, I'm gonna assume yes because they didn't spell it out. That's from Ian Rappaport. So yeah.
Yeah, because this you don't really see this many trades like this. They really playing Madden today.
It really does seem like it, right? Like crazy trades. Oh man, if you look at Twitter right now, Titans fans are upset like hell. Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's good to see Texans fans happy again.
Right?
For once, we're winning. And I'll take the offseason win right now. So the Cardinals take tackle.
Wow.
Johnson.
That's a great pick.
Paris Johnson. And I actually think that's a good pickup. This is the if you remember the reports earlier, Kyler Murray actually was lobbying to get Paris Johnson. Actually asked the staff, "Hey, can you draft me a tackle? Get me some protection." And it looks like they listened.
Well, all the money they paying him, they better listen to him.
Yeah, I guess so, right? So one of the comments that I actually made was that we were going to find out this draft whether or not Arizona believes in Kyler Murray. Because if they listen to him, right, and they did, then they believe he's a future, right? And so they just believed and said that, hey, we believe in the future of Kyler Murray. We are going to select a tackle. This is what he asked for. And so they gave it to him. So I think this is a good pickup for Arizona. I think it was a great pickup for Kyler Murray. The one thing is, the interesting thing is they are likely to be first overall next year. So, Kyler is going to be out for most of the year. We don't know if he's going to play at all. And if he comes back, the earliest looks like it's going to be in November. So he's going to miss at minimum the first 2 months of football, the first 8 weeks at minimum. You don't see Arizona doing too well here. So I don't know who they're going to have be their quarterback this year, but they're not going to do very well. But yeah, I do believe that this is a good pickup though. And I think that their real year is going to start next year when Kyler Murray is back healthy. Paris Johnson probably is going to need a year to get in the mode, get in NFL mode, get up to NFL speed. He's only allowed 3 sacks. And he started in 13 games at left tackle last year. So good pickup for Arizona.
I say we trade Davis Mills to Arizona, let him start over there.
Trade him anywhere. I don't give a damn.
Listen, why not? We have CJ Stroud, we have EJ Perry, and Case Keenum. Do we really need Davis Mills? If we can get a pick for him, go do it. But obviously, I'm joking. I don't think they'll do that. But so yeah, very, very, very interesting.
I mean, if it's possible, what do you think? A fifth, a sixth round? I mean,
I
gotta
think you
get
get.
something
I
out
think
of
you
it,
can
right?
get a fifth for Davis Mills. If they try to trade Davis Mills, you can get a fifth round pick for him. He's still on a rookie deal. And you got to imagine that a lot of people that would be trading up for him basically think that he was put in a bad situation with two different head coaches. Basically every single excuse that we use for Davis Mills, and it's not a bad idea to take a fifth round pick, take a flyer on someone that still on a rookie deal. What do you have to lose? A late round pick. The upside is high. If you build around him, hey, why not? I think that obviously his time in Houston has come to an end. We have just drafted our potential franchise quarterback, and he should go somewhere else and see if he can do something with his time in the NFL. So let's see what's
So who's
going
clock
on
now?
here.
Is it the Raiders or Atlanta?
All right, so Will Anderson, just to go back while we're waiting for the next pick here. So just some stats in case people don't know. He was second most. So I said first, I was wrong. He was actually the second most sacks in all of Alabama history with 34 and a half sacks. Second most in Alabama full history in tackles for loss, 62. So, he's a beast, and we now have him on our squad. So, very, very good. Texans fans all over Twitter are very, very happy. And again, that's something that you want to see. So here's something that Chris Sims is saying something about Paris Johnson, which I think is definitely interesting, right? He's a sixth overall pick. He has long arms, great footwork. He is talking about his butt. Obviously, I don't know why he does this, but he is. That's just Chris Sims for you. His big question is the ability to anchor NFL pass rushers. He said it was a good pick with a very high floor. So that's Chris Sims' evaluation of Paris Johnson. And so just while we're waiting for the next pick here, we do have some that are saying that they believe, and this is just so you get a feel of what other Texans fans are saying, because I believe the trade was a bit expensive, and it does seem like some people believe that. It looks like Crumpler might believe that as well, Jonathan Crumpler. I certainly believe it, but if you're going to get your guy, at the end of the day, if he ends up being what you want, no one's really going to complain about the compensation. But as of now, yeah, it looks like it. We'll see what actually happens. So now let's see. Now the prediction is that.
So, hey, BT,
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you're hearing any chatter on your end, but there's some chatter on my end that Houston might is trying to get back into a first again.
With what pick? Like with what picks?
I don't know. Next year's first. That's just what they're
We already
saying. They're
gave
talking
up
about
we gave
next
up
year's first and the third.
Yeah, we already gave up a first and a third. So we already gave up a first and a third. Are we giving up our other first?
So we already gave him a first and a third, so we'll give him another first.
I wouldn't like it. I don't want to do it, but that's just what they're saying. I don't want to give up our third round pick either, because then you're not picking until the fourth, and that's real Bill O'Brien-esque.
Yeah, I don't. Unless they're going to give up 2025 capital, I don't see a reason to do that. Yeah, I definitely don't want to give up any more capital at all. But we know that Kassir does like moving up and down. We did move up to get Nico Collins. We moved up to get John Mechie. So we moved down to get Kenyon Green. So he does like to move up and down. Last year he had 4 draft day trades, which is actually the most in franchise history. I predicted that in this draft he would actually have 6. So I'm actually predicting that he will have 6 moves, and we'll see if that happens at the end of draft weekend. But all right, so the Raiders have just have made their pick. I'm trying to see if I can find out who it actually is before this officially gets announced. Okay, so they are picking Tyree Wilson. The Raiders have picked Tyree Wilson. Let me write that down over here.
Raiders got Wilson. Oh.
So they got the second best edge in the draft. And it looks like Levis is dropping. So I predicted he would drop out of the top 10. So far, it looks that way.
All right, let me ask you a question. If Levis fall past 12, would what we did would it be considered bad, or it's still good what we did?
No, I mean, regardless of where Levis goes, I mean, honestly, that's irrelevant. I think. I think that regardless of how far he falls, we had to do what we had to do because it really was independent of him, frankly. We did not. When I say we, according to that source, right, that I told you before, that the change was that Nick wanted Levis, and that management did not, ownership did not. Obviously, I think most people wanted Stroud over Levis. So regardless of where Levis is going, what we did is what we did, and it has nothing to do with that. I want to say though, Tyree Wilson may just have the best jacket in the draft. Gotta say that right now. Loving that jacket, bro. Like the whole suit. All right, it's a little Cam Newton like. I can live with that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, he's from Texas Tech. So they picked up Jimmy G in the offseason. Now they'll work on defense. Defense was definitely big for them because just like us, they couldn't stop the run. Not nearly as bad, but they couldn't stop the run. So this is definitely something that they're going to need to do in order to be successful. So
okay, now they just paid Chandler Jones all that money. They still got the other Crosby. So who's not going to be in rotation now? You're not going to have all three of them on the line. So what they're going to do now?
I think Crosby's going to be there, and I think they might move him around. I mean, they might move one of them on the inside. So we'll see. But I think that this is definitely a worthwhile pickup. The only knock on him is that he's an injured player. Obviously, that happens. This is football. But that's really the biggest knock on him is that he had a season-ending injury. We did see on medicals when the reports came in earlier this week that the Texans were going to pick Tyree Wilson, and the debate was it was a Tyree Wilson or Will Anderson. And it looks like that some teams thought that his medicals looked bad enough to take him off their board. So it will be interesting to see how healthy Tyree Wilson stays. This is definitely a risk, but I think it is a worthwhile risk for the Raiders from where they're picking. They're picking with the 7th overall pick. I think that it's worthwhile. He had 50 QB pressures last year and led the whole conference, the Big 12 conference. So I think that this is a worthwhile pick. And it continues to be an interesting draft, I gotta say. And I have to shout out, the Texans at work. We're doing well. So just to say who's next. So we got the Falcons, and I am thinking that the Falcons could pick up Bijan. Bijan has been called the best offensive player in the draft. And I think we could see the Falcons pick up Bijan right here. The Falcons run more than any other team besides Chicago. And Chicago already has their running back situation set. I think they're going to pick up a tackle. So since Paris Johnson went, I think they're going to have to pick up the other tackle, Sorskin Peter. Peter Sorskin is probably going to go to the Bears. So right now I'm thinking it's going to go Bijan Robinson and then Peter, the other tackle. So that's what I believe the next 2 picks will be.
I'm with you on that.
All right, we got confirmation.
What is it?
The Atlanta Falcons have drafted Bijan Robinson.
Wow.
So the Falcons take what was called the best offensive weapon in the draft. And I know there's a lot.
What? Hey, do you think that's kind of high for Bijan though?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, listen, for us, yes, because of where we were. For them, no, because you know why? Because they literally run like 64% of the time. 64%. And they can't depend on Cordell Patterson. It's literally what they're based after. They the problem they have to try and see if Desmond Ritter is that quarterback. For us, listen, Landry Locker, who obviously I really I like him a lot. You know that, right? I appreciate his takes, but he was saying that Bijan could go for number 2. He was saying he didn't want to take a quarterback. He wanted Bijan Robinson to go with the number 2 overall pick.
I think he was saying it because he's a UT fan.
I think he got a little biased there, but shout out to Landry Locker on 610 on In the Loop, and he also has that YouTube show, Landry Locker on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed to him or watch a show, you should if you're a Texans fan. But I will say that, listen, I think that Falcons made a good pick here at Bijan Robinson. He is obviously the best running back in this draft. Whether he's the best offensive weapon will remain to be seen. But it's definitely a great pickup for them. And like I said, they run like 64% of the time. So to give him to get a weapon like that is going to be great. Now they're going to try to see if Desmond Ritter is that quarterback, and he's going to have an awful lot of help with Bijan over there. Now this guy is not just a running back; he can line up in the slot, so he can be a receiver. Right? He's a receiving threat. He's a running threat. You can't go wrong with getting Bijan if you're a team like the Falcons and what you do is run the goddamn ball. You win games running the ball, and that's what they do. So the Falcons just got a lot better instantaneously.
Yeah, and I mean last year they was pretty good. All the scheme they was doing that what was upsetting me about us, because I was like, the Falcons' talent isn't that great, but the way Arthur Smith was scheming them and getting them guys open, scoring points, he's done a great job. Same thing with the Giants. So I'm looking at what we have right now, and I'm really high on. Well, I wasn't high on Bobby, but listen to you got me high on Bobby. I think that he should be able to scheme up these guys, and we should be up in the 25, 26 point range right now. So hopefully our offense will make our defense better next year. So
yeah, I mean, so let me ask you this question. I know you were just talking about the Falcons, but I got to ask you this question. So at this point, we got a quarterback, we got our edge, we've got the 65 over pick, and then we got the late rounders. At this point, would you consider this draft a win regardless of what we pick? Or do you say that there is a requirement that you have to have in this draft before you consider this draft a true success?
Okay. I'm let them do the pick first, and I'm gonna tell you. Let them do the pick right quick.
It's Bijan.
Well, we know it's Bijan, but let them do the pick.
They got him.
And the Falcons select Bijan Robinson. So an interesting note here.
Okay. I think no matter what, we want to draft. You know what? I'm gonna throw a nugget at you, BT. I look at what we just did as what the Raiders did when they got Khalil Mack and Derek Carr.
Okay.
I feel like they won the draft that year.
Okay.
And I feel like we done the same thing. I think C.J. Stroud was probably a better prospect coming out of college than Derek Carr, but Derek Carr he still was, to me, he was a good NFL quarterback. I know you're not high on him. Still a good NFL quarterback. If we could get Will Anderson as half as Khalil Mack, man, then this pick is really great. But I feel like we want to draft. It don't matter what they do. Even if they don't get a center with the 65th pick, they still want to draft, man, because you got two cornerstone guys that now, when fans come to the stadium, they got somebody to root for. When teams come to the stadium, they're like, okay, we got to worry about this quarterback. We got to worry about this edge right here. I'm more intrigued on what our defensive line coach is going to do with William Anderson. Is he going to have his hand in the dirt or is he going to stand him up? That's what I'm more intrigued with.
I think he's going to stand him up. No,
Well, I think he should stand him up. So if he stand him up, that means that should we go edge again later on,
I mean
or
because
just stick with what we got with Grenard
I
and
mean, you got
Hughes?
Grenard on that side, right? So I think you listen. It's a heavy edge class. We could, frankly, right? Um, and why the fuck not? Honestly, like if we're in position and we can get an edge, like I would say, in a later round, pick one up. Grenard hasn't. I like Grenard. Like I literally have his jersey right here. So I don't want people to think when I talk bad about a player that I don't dislike them. I'm talking about roster construction here. And Grenard, we're going to have to pay soon. So I think it behooves them to draft an edge. So you're not married to Grenard. But if he does show out, you make him rotational, or you flip him. Like at the end of the day, right? It's still a business. So I say take the edge if you're in position to do so. I will say, however, we have to do one more thing in this draft for me to consider this a complete win, and only one more thing. Get me a center. You get me a center, and this draft is an A plus. Right now it's an A. Get me a center, it's an A plus. So that is the one thing that I need. And if they do that at 65, I don't need really anything more. Everything else is gravy.
Well, it's gonna be some centers there. The Michigan kid. Like you said, Luke. Man, look, if they get Luke, I mean that's a good connection back. See now, I'm now okay. Since we're not gonna go JSN, who you think JSN is gonna fall to now?
If the Titans don't pick Will Levis, I think they can go JSN. If they don't go quarterback, they might say that they prefer Tannehill over Will Levis, and then you could drop even further. So that is a possibility.
Matt just said that he say Green Bay is gonna get JSN.
I think that might be too far,
Too far.
frankly. They're picking. Oh no, they're at 13, right? Because they trade with the Jets now, so they're at 13, not 15. You might be right. You might be right because of the Jets trade.
Right. So now we got to look at the Mingos of the world, the AT Perrys of the world for a wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
And they should be there, in, third, fourth round, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm thinking, right? So I don't think unless they're going to go receiver again, like right away at 65, I don't think they can go to get Mingo, right? So I think that's over. So now you got to go AT Perry. You could even go later on. You could even get Matt Landers, right? Remember Bill Carroll? He was on the show. He was very, very big on Matt Landers, so you can get in the 6th round. And there were dudes in the 6th and 7th round that are receivers. I can't remember. I can't remember every single name, unfortunately. For those that haven't watched this, go on our YouTube channel and check out the 15 sleepers that was done with Bill Carroll. It's a worthwhile watch before the rest of this draft. So after tonight, if you want to do some homework and look at what late round picks that we could pick up, go to our YouTube channel at Texans Fan Battle on YouTube and look for the video that's a 15 sleepers with Bill Carroll. Trust me, it's a worthwhile watch, and it'll prepare you for the late round picks that we may pick up later on. But yeah, Matt Landers is in there. A.T. Perry is there. I don't know where Josh Downs is going to go. I don't know where that Purdue kid is going to go. But at the end of the day, I want to see a center. If I see a center, like I said, if I see a center, this will be an A plus draft, and I will have zero complaints about anything else. And even if we didn't pick up, like a great receiver, we could work that out as UDFA's, etc. But the thing is, I want to see a center. That's really all I need. And for those that are watching, because there's still people that are watching, what do you need to see? Okay, here we go. Adam, need a center for sure. So yeah, I agree. That is the one thing that they're missing right now. And let's see here. Hold on. Having some technical difficulties. Give me a second over here. Okay. All right. The Eagles have selected a pick. I'll see if I can find out who that is. Okay. All right, so we missed the Bears pick. So the Bears picked Darnell Wright tackle. So the Bears picked a tackle as they needed to.
Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
So the Eagles picked Jalen Carter, and the Bears pick up a tackle. And the Eagles. All right. So I guess he was right. Jalen Carter's agent said he wasn't going to go past the top 10, and there he is. He made it to the 10th. So we've now finished the top 10 of the 2023 NFL Draft. And so 90 minutes into this draft, besides the Texans, what are your thoughts? Who's making the best picks here?
Hey, okay. So by picking Jalen Carter, does that make the Jordan Davis pick last year bad, or did it add more help to the defensive line since they lost? I think they lost a guy.
So Jordan Davis did get injured in the middle of the season. I think that he was actually quite good. When you looked at him with and without him, they gave up way more yards on the ground after his injury. So I don't think that they lost anything necessarily. Listen, you need more of a single player, right? There's no doubt about it. Jordan Davis also has some stamina issues, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad pick. But I do think what they are doing is they're going to build up a roster where they don't have to rely on a single defensive tackle, which is what they were doing last year. So I think this is a solid pickup, and I think props to this kid. He's been through a lot. Yes, has he made some mistakes? He's crying right now, and I understand why. I mean, so did he make some mistakes? Yeah, but I got to ask everyone that is trying to throw stones at him, when you were 20, 21 years old in college, how many mistakes did you make? Because I sure know I made plenty. And, at the end of the day, this dude, was trying to race. And some people went crazy and started calling him things like a murderer and things like that, which was just out of pocket. At the end of the day, what happened was the student that was racing made their own decision to race. And unfortunately, they both were doing things that were unsafe, and one lost their life. That is not on Jalen Carter. So I'm not going to put that blame on him. And it's unfortunate that so many did. Now, he was supposed to be the second or third overall pick. He ended up dropping to the 10th overall pick. So, it did affect his draft, his draft stock, right? He dropped from 3rd to 10th. What I will say is I'm glad that he stayed in the top 10, and I hope that he proves it wrong. He had some issues on his pro day where during the pro day, he did not actually finish it well. He claimed that he was feeling unwell, that he wasn't conditioned well. And and honestly, think about it from his side. He was a young kid. He was looking at potentially doing time. He got away with probation and community service, but he was stressed. A young kid that is about to get drafted, that his life is about to change, and now he's dealing with legal issues that could stop everything. And so he had a lot of issues that he was dealing with. So now he didn't do well on his pro day. I'm glad the Eagles took a shot at him. I'm glad they're giving the young man a chance. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the Eagles selecting him.
So let me ask you a question. If Jalen Carter wouldn't have gotten in trouble, do you think we would have got him at number 3 instead of Will Anderson? Or you still think Will Anderson would have been a pick no matter what?
I think they liked Will Anderson so much that they would have gone Will Anderson. You could tell by the amount of picks that they used to go up there. Will Anderson was their guy. That's for sure.
So basically, when these players go in for meetings and everything, these meetings actually mean something because Will Anderson, I mean, he said that when he met with us, it was great, and he wanted to be a Texan, and we made it happen. I think the Jalen Carter, I'm happy for him. I thought he was going to fall a little lower than that. The only thing about it now, he's in a city that he got to produce. Because with the Eagles, you don't produce, they get on your ass. Real quick. So he got to come in and produce. He got to put everything what happened, over the last, couple of months. Put it to rest. Go in there and show them why you are the best defensive tackle in this draft. So I know he's upset. He lost some money right now because I know he feel like, how the hell did Tyree Wilson went over me? This guy's injured, But I think it's a great pick for Philly. I think they're still building off their Super Bowl run. If they find a way to trade for Derrick Henry, will be even better for them. So I like what Philly's doing over there, man. Shout out to ex-Texan over there, Connor Barton. Shout out to him over there, man.
Yes. I just want to read this real quick. This is from Aaron Wilson. He just had a quote from C.J. Stroud. Thought it was worth reading. So C.J. Stroud said, "It's a blessing, a dream come true. We have a great relationship already with Gerard Johnson," which that he does, right? I think that was already discussed. Gerard Johnson actually works with athletes first. When people were saying that the issue that we wouldn't take C.J. Stroud because of David Monagella, they forgot that Gerard Johnson actually works with athletes first as well. So he was saying that he already has a great relationship with Gerard Johnson. He says, I can definitely be effective. I can bring a fierce, tenacious leader. I want to be great, accurate, and deliver the ball down the field. So I think that just proves the point, relationships obviously matter. Tennessee is not taking Will Levis. Doesn't look like Tennessee is. So my prediction was wrong there. Let's see who are they taking?
Darnell Wright.
No. That's the Bears. So the Tennessee is taking Peter Skrouncey. They're taking a tackle. So Will Levis is dropping. So I wonder how Titans fans are feeling. So I'm not. So Peter. All right. So far, we had the potential of going 4 quarterbacks in a row. That didn't happen. 3 quarterbacks in the top 10, and Will Levis continues to drop. How far do you guys think he drops at this point?
I mean, because it's no other team that needs a quarterback. And since Tennessee went the other guy, I mean, who else needs a quarterback right now?
I was actually thinking that that the Seahawks would get him get Hendon Hooker at 20. Right, I don't know if there was a lot of teams that need it. Let me look right now.
I would have said Green Bay, but but you got to see what Jordan Love could do. You took him in the first round. You got to see what he can do. So I would have said Green Bay, could get Will Levis. Maybe somebody surprises us and trade up and get him. I don't know who that team will be, but this is interesting, man. Because he was talked about going number 1, number 2. And now he's going to come out of the, not going to top 10. That's very interesting.
I think
because I thought Anthony Richardson was going to drop, not Will Levis.
I didn't think Anthony Richardson was going to drop. I was at Colts all the way. But
yep.
It looks like Tampa might be the next place where he can go. So he might drop to 19. He might almost drop to.
Tampa. It will be good.
So, we'll see if Will Levis goes all the way down to Tampa. Yeah. All right. So we now know that the Titans picked. The Titans picked a lineman. Decent pick. What do you think about that pick? They didn't pick a quarterback. They went with a lineman.
They had no choice, man. That line is bad. It used to be good. It was bad, so they had no choice but to go offensive line. I feel like it's a good pick for them. It's a safe pick for them. Their main thing is what they're gonna do with Tannehill at the quarterback, since they don't believe in Willis over there, what they're gonna do with the quarterback. I think he got like maybe one more year left in him. Matter of fact, him and Derrick Henry, I think he got one more year left in him, man. Derrick Henry, I mean, he's getting up there, especially for a running back and everything. But I guess we could finally say that they have the worst quarterback in the division, right?
They do. Yeah, at this point they do. They have Tannehill, which is the worst quarterback.
So
I think Stroud's going to be better than him week 2, week 3. Frankly.
Did you wake up today and said that they was going to have the worst quarterback in this division? Did you think that?
No, I did not.
Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit?
Oh man! Oh, do you know what I did do last night? And I finished it this morning. I watched Draft Day, of course.
I'm gonna put a disclaimer right here.
All right.
I've never seen Draft Day.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I've never
slap him or something. I don't know.
I've never seen Draft Day. Now I listened to the song Draft Day by Drake, but I never watched the movie with Kevin Costner, Draft Day, at all. So I'm making my due diligence to watch it Sunday to see what is it about. I mean, I know what it's about, but see, if it's good, it's
corny.
It's corny.
I think it's all right.
It's okay.
All right. So here's what I like. What I like about it, because the manager from Arizona, he actually said it's accurate. And so the reason why I like it is because I'm not going to tell you the whole plot. I actually listen. Do yourself a favor, watch it, because what you just saw today is kind of similar to what happened. It was a deal that really just happened on draft day, right? A huge blockbuster trade that no one really saw coming throughout the entire offseason, that was only discussed in the early morning of today. And so basically it's all about the Cleveland Browns and the Seattle Seahawks and a huge trade. And a lot of other stuff going on, but basically watch it, bro. Watch it.
All right. So I'm a segue off something you said, VT. You just quoted Aaron Wilson on CJ Stroud. I'm a quote him what Will Anderson said. He said, I want to be part of history and part of something special. I went to the Texans and got into the facility, and it was everything I thought I needed. That's why I'm a Texan. I like to hear that. It's showing that we have a foot in the right direction. Right now, I'm so excited to give them my money next month on my payments. I'm excited to get my money and my payments next month, man, because this is great. This is like I wish that we can go to rookie mini camp next month as well, because that's how happy I am right now as a Texans fan, man. This golly, let's go.
I'm very happy that we got our quarterback. I cannot tell you how happy I am that we no longer have to worry about what the fuck are we going to do with the quarterback position. That was the biggest issue. But, we solidified the quarterback position. We got the best edge in the draft. Like I said, we get a center, and this will be an A+ draft. If they get a center, I legit don't give a fuck what they do the rest of the time. Just get me a center now. That's all I need. Yes, do we need receivers? Yeah, you can't. All right. So, okay. You can't fix everything in one draft, though.
We got 10 picks. Can we use those picks to get back into the second?
Value-wise, we would have to give up a lot. We'd have to give up 5 or 6 of those picks. I don't know, honestly. I think you have to package up some of 2024's and then some of this year's. It would have to be a decent package to go back up there.
Well, never mind, man. Never mind. I was trying to see what we're gonna do. So I guess right now, this is how they make their money. We got to try to figure out in these later rounds, these guys that we was talking to. Hopefully, we could get one of them, and they turn out to be something. But like we said earlier, we already won a draft already with our first 2 picks.
What's up, bro? Okay, so we have breaking news. The Lions are taking Alabama running back Jahmyr Gibbs.
Whoa, that's high. That's high. Now I know that they need another running back since they lost the other guy to the Saints.
James Williams. I don't know why they didn't give him a good contract.
Hey man, that makes their offense gonna be scarier. But they are gonna be missing J-Mo. So, but damn, once he gets back, man, it's gonna be real great, man.
Right.
The Lions. Um,
So what is interesting though is about the Lions is they lost. Yes, they lost JMO because of a gambling scandal, um, and they lost, I believe, a safety and a corner as well. They lost two receivers, um, uh, as far as the suspension is concerned, and two players were released because of this scandal. So it is interesting that they may have to do some work after the draft to be able to compete because of how many players that they lost. So that is definitely going to be the interesting thing for them. But I actually thought that was going to change their board a little bit, and apparently it is not. They're saying no, we're going to stick
I,
with the
I,
board.
hey, BT, I got some to ask you on a quote that CJ said. I might be thinking too much into it, but he say the city of Houston hasn't seen a franchise quarterback in a long time. I definitely think I could become a franchise quarterback. I got to put in a lot of work. Now, do you think I'm reading too much? Is that a shot? Because I mean, it wasn't that long ago. So he said I think a long time. I'm thinking years, not a couple years. So what you feel about that quote?
I don't think he's throwing any shade to Deshaun because he likes Deshaun Watson, so he wouldn't throw any shade at him. I think he's viewing the fact that we haven't had Watson didn't play his last year here, so we basically have 3 years without a franchise quarterback, and 3 years is a significant amount of time to not have a franchise quarterback. And I also think he believes that even when Deshaun Watson was here, he was pretty much out after that 2020 season. So I I don't think it's a dig. That at the combine he said that he looks up to Deshaun Watson. So I don't think it's a dig. I just think he believes that you know he knows how Texans fans feel, and Texans fans want a franchise quarterback, and I think we got one. And I think that's what it is. So that's all it is to me.
Okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. I love what he said. Put in the work because
Yeah.
that's what we need. We need him to be here, be in town tomorrow, which he's going to be in town tomorrow. Have a press conference and go in and put in work, man. Like everything people were saying about you at Ohio State about you had the best this, the best that. Show them that hey, even though I had them, I still can ball. I'm still that guy. So I just hope this thing, come along. I'm gonna say in 2 years, we can see some progressive in 2 years and everything.
I think so. Alabir is saying something very, very interesting. So, two running backs in the top 12 for the first time in 6 years and the second time in 13 years. Gibbs is a weapon described calmly as a faster, less shifty version of Alvin Kamara. So, basically, this is the first time two running backs in the top 12 for the first time in 6 years. So, um, we have been talking about how devalued the running back position has been. You had Bijan Robinson and Jameer Gibbs being taken pretty quickly, two first rounders. That again, that's pretty interesting. So, what do you think? Do you think we're seeing that the that running backs are becoming more and more popular again? Are they going to start getting paid, or are they? Is it the revolution of running backs all over again?
It got it got to be that the revolution of running backs. It got to be that because who like you say two running backs in the first round. I mean that's unheard of. The Lions basically back-to-back drafts took a chance on two guys. I mean J-Mo, everybody was high on him, but he still come off an injury, and they swung and got him. They swung and get Gibbs. Hey man, I like it, and I like that the running backs, getting they due diligence back because they was forgotten. So yeah, I think the running backs back. They up.
Low key, David got the right idea because
Well, all right. I want to answer this question. So Frank Perez was trying to ask about how we could get back in the second. I believe. I think that's what his comment was about. And he's saying, couldn't they trade 2/3 for a second or 2/4 for a third? Yeah. So the question is, which draft though is it going to be? Is it going to be? Are you talking about 2/4 from the 2024? Or are you saying are they trade our thirds of this year to the second. So the thing is, because we gave up so much draft capital, listen, they could do it. The question is, do you
Well, I
also?
mean, that's the good thing. We have 12 picks, right? Like we have the capital to move up. Like if we come around with 5 to 6 picks, I'll be okay. We don't need a lot. We just need right guys right now.
So just remember though that 5 of those 12 picks are 6th and 7th rounders. So we got 3 6s and 2 7s. So 5 of those 12 are 6s and 7s. So it's not. Yes, we have 12 picks, but a lot of them are late rounders, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know how much more we can move up unless we go to 2024. And should we? I guess it depends on the prospect, right? If we see a receiver or a center there that we have to have, go for it. Um, but what I will say is that what we may see is that we still have a decent amount of work to do even next year. And that's not being negative. I'm just saying, like, we're going to have a lot more work to do in terms of just adding more players. I want to see what we'll do in UDFA too after this draft. I do think that we will be utilizing UDFA more heavily even than last year because, listen, for anyone that's thinking that we're going to intake one, no, we're going to try to fucking win. And I think that we can easily, not okay, I shouldn't say easily, but I think we can significantly improve. I think that we can have a 7-win team, and you know what? I'm going to go on a limb here and say even possibly more. We with a quarterback and a top edge, I mean, that frees you up. That's a lot of possibilities. Is it too early to be talking about win-loss records? What do you think? If you had to get, or maybe that's just too soon. I mean,
hold on. Hey, say that last part again. You said the last part. I missed the last part.
I said, is it too early to be talking about win-loss records, even though we just got a quarterback and an edge? Is that?
Yeah. Let's finish the draft and finish the undrafted free agents as well. And,
Yeah.
I think we talked win loss. I think the earliest you might talk about it. What preseason?
I mean,
okay, yeah. When the schedule comes out.
Yeah, I mean, we know what home games we have.
Yeah, we know what home game, but we don't know when though.
Right.
Yeah,
We
we
have
don't
a
know
better
when.
understanding of
Now.
Oh, we got breaking news here. So
What?
the Packers select Lucas Van Ness.
That's the center.
No, Lucas Van Ness is the edge.
Oh,
that I
the
wanted.
edge for Iowa.
Robin?
The Iowa. Well, we already know right now. The Bryce Young CJ is going to be on primetime TV. We already know that.
Hey, we know the next pick if you want to know. We know the next pick if you want to know.
So everyone thought that they would take over. Not everyone, but a lot of people thought they would take a receiver, and that didn't happen, right? So like, there's a few people that were saying no receiver here. So yeah, this is interesting now. So David Jeremiah, he has now Kincaid, Gonzalez are the next available in terms of best available. So your Dalton Kincaid, Christopher Gonzalez, Will Levis, Nolan Smith. So those look like the next 4. They should go pretty soon. Kincaid, Gonzalez, Levis, and Smith. And he's throwing Levis in there. So we'll see. You think it's time to get a tight end? You think this is where we're going to see a tight end go, or you think it's too early?
Shit. I think it's early. I think they're going to go like 18, maybe like an 18. A tight end is going to go. But the question is, what tight end is going to go first?
Tight ends?
Yeah.
So I think it'll be Mike Mayer. Or the second one to go is Kincaid. What do you guys think?
Go first.
I mean, you got to here in a couple, 2 or 3 picks, the Jets, right? You got to think the Jets go after them to give Aaron Rodgers another weapon for the offense, right? I mean, that's just a good pick for him. But I mean, it is a Jet, so who knows?
I mean, so you think Jets would go tight end? Or, I mean, I guess they really need a receiver at this point, huh? I mean, but yeah, I mean, if they go tight end, I can see
either
that.
one. I mean, right? I mean, they still have who's that boy from last year? Wilson from last year.
Yeah.
They picked up Lazard. So I don't think they go receiver. I think they go tight end, but who knows?
All right, so all right, Jameer Gibbs is the highest drafted running back since Trent Richardson. He went third overall for Alabama. So the highest drafted Alabama running back. All right. Steelers are now on the clock, and they traded with the Patriots. So we got a trade. The Steelers have traded with the Patriots.
The Patriots.
Oh wow! They don't go tight end because they got that one guy.
Still is going Will Levis.
Steelers are going tackle, I think.
Nolan Smith on the other side of TJ Watt.
I think they're going tackle. I mean, I don't. That's my guess right now. Why would they trade up besides going for a tackle? Oh, and our boy John Hickman, who is a Patriots fan, his words: "I hate this team, dog." Shout out to John Hickman of Lockdown Texans. If you haven't subscribed,
Tell John Hickman that he can always come to the Texans side.
Shut up! I just
He'll
go
be the trader.
Oh. I gotta tell him, become a Texans fan. We got a better quarterback. All right, so we should see a pick here soon. I'll see if there's any updates. This has been an interesting draft, guys. I'm glad everyone's still with us. Nearly 2 hours. Thank you for watching. All right, so we have a pick in. They are picking a tackle, Broderick Jones. So they are picking a tackle.
Oh, the other Ohio State tackle.
Yes. So, no, not Iowa State, Georgia tackle.
Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah, I love it.
So this. So the Steelers are selecting Broderick Jones. Great pickup for them. They needed some protection. They were dealing with injuries last year. Kenny Pickett wasn't able to really get off a lot of offense during those injured period of times. They definitely needed definite help.
Hey, B.
Yeah.
Me and Chris are gonna have to get off of here because the laptop's dying and we family stuff. If you want to keep going, you can. If not, we'll hit you up later tomorrow.
All right, yeah, I'll keep going as long as I have a couple. I've got 10 viewers on. I'll do it for a little bit and then I'll shut it down. Is that cool?
He said he's gonna keep going.
Okay, yeah. If I have time, I'll jump on when I get home. But we'll
All right,
see.
yeah. As long as I've got viewers, I'll do it.
All right,
If
bro.
they drop off, I'll drop off.
All right.
All right. So, guys, you have just me. So I'm going to stay with you until I got no one else here. So right now it looks like I said, it was the Steelers selecting Broderick Jones. And if you're watching, put up your comments. Hey, Amanda. Oh, hey, Amanda, what's going on? Yes, they need an O-line. So yeah, they definitely need a Broderick Jones. I'm glad they got a tackle. I think Kenny Pickett last year was the best quarterback, and he didn't really look good because he didn't have the help they needed. So shout out to you, Amanda. Thanks for watching. My co-host had to go because they're closing down the um, the place they're at. They're at the Brick House, and unfortunately, they had to leave. We're trying to do the first time do a live stream, and it's not the easiest thing in the world, but we appreciate people watching. Um, so a little bit about Broderick Jones. So one of the best things about him is that he's great in space, um, and he is a national championship. And he started all 15 games. So this guy does not have any health injuries, which is something the Packers had to deal with last year, and really screwed up Kenny Pickett. He allowed 0 sacks on 449 snaps. So pass blocking snaps. So that's definitely something that I think it's going to help out the Steelers. And this is all good news for us. We have the Browns pick. And the good thing about having that Browns pick is that the Ravens just signed Lamar Jackson. The Steelers just got a tackle. So it looks like the competition in the AFC North is getting pretty good. If you're a Texans fan, which is obviously why you're watching this channel, right now things are looking very, very good. We got a good draft, and it looks like the Browns are going to have to go up against tougher competition. So let's see if there's any other breaking news right here. So this is the fallout from the Jets trading from 13 to 15. And so this is from Matt Miller, who's talking about what was just going on. And what Green Bay was able to pull off. So that shouldn't have happened, but obviously you got a pick there when you traded Aaron Rodgers. So we'll see what happens with Will Levis. Now that is the most interesting thing. This guy was supposed to be a top 5 pick, and he fell out of top 10, and he could fall to the top 20. This guy could fall into the second round. The word on the street is that not a lot of people liked his character. If you saw the Manning show, you saw that while every other person was asking questions about how mechanics, how to be a good quarterback in the league, he took the opportunity to ask the Mannings about how he could better his brand and his image. So I think I don't think that people were as high on Levis as other people thought. Whenever you have a QB needy team, what you're going to have is all the quarterbacks usually bunch up. And many people didn't believe that Levis should be a first runner. They thought that he should be a second or third. Now, I actually thought that he had potential. Will Levis started in a pro-ready offense. He was on a team that had a very bad O-line, a bad receiving core. And so you saw some flashes with him because he's a bully. He's athletic. The problem with him is that he's not a disciplined quarterback. He chooses to use his power instead of finesse. And the problem with that is that he does have a lack of pocket presence. That's his biggest issue. But he has a cannon. And like I said, he's a bully. So if you watch that 2021 LSU game, what you'll notice is that when he was pressured, he just ran right through people. And that is something that I think that is pretty awesome. However, if you don't have the ability to understand when you should do that, you end up with what happened to him, which is that he basically ended up with, I believe, 100 negative yards if you look at the stats. And that's because he simply took too many sacks. And yes, was the line bad? Yes, it obviously was bad. But you cannot blame the line alone. So so Frank is asking best center in the third. So I think that, if you're talking about what we'll select, I think that we could get Luke Wepler. I think that would help because, hey, why not get some Ohio State help here, right? Connections are good. So I can see them going over Luke for multiple reasons. One is because, the centers that we want aren't going to be there when we're picking. And number two, why not give CJ Stroud, our new quarterback? I'm going to smile when I say that. Why not give our new quarterback, CJ Stroud, a little bit of help? very, very excited to call CJ Stroud our next quarterback. Let's see if we can see what the next pick is right now. And we'll take a look. So something to know about Broderick Jones, as I just mentioned, is he did not allow a single sack and 445 pass blocks last season, the most in the SEC. So that's definitely a great pickup. Let's see. Oh, what is this? Oh, okay. So the Cleveland Browns are posting pictures of Deshaun Watson. I don't understand the reason for that. I guess we'll figure that out soon. So the Lions, they have an issue with Jameson Williams because he got suspended for gambling. So it should be that you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, the sun god. You have Jameson Williams, but he's suspended. Marvin Jones, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, and now Jamar Gibbs, along with Jared Goff. But without JMO, will they try to supplement that right now? Or will they say, hey, no, he's going to be back in 6 games. We don't have to worry about that in the draft. And they try to deal with that either through a trade, UDFA, or just deal with that with who they have on their roster. So everyone's asking what is going on with Will Levis. Why has he not been selected? And like I said, what I heard was that like people just didn't like him. They didn't like his character, and then the game film didn't look right. So in 2021, like I said, if you look at the LSU game, look at other games, he looked pretty good, but he had a bad 2022. And so what you find yourself in is a situation where if you don't have the proper attitude and you have bad game film, I think you're seeing the result of that. You can't have both. You could potentially have one or the other. When your talent supersedes your character, character is not as important as your talent in most cases. But when your attitude isn't great and your talent looks like you dropped off, yeah, I think that's a problem. So I don't know if Will Levis will get selected in the first round at all. I think the next shot that he has is Tampa, and they're picking at the 19th overall pick. So I don't know. We'll see that in the next 5 picks what actually happens. So just want to shout out everyone that is watching. If you have any comments, I'll be happy to answer them. Go ahead and say this. Daniel Jeremiah is getting on par with his predictions. We now have some breaking news. So the New York Jets will select pass rusher Will McDonald IV. So I'll write that up for you. So we now have the next pick in the NFL 2023 draft, and that's the New York Jets are selecting Iowa pass rusher Will McDonald. And I think this is a great pickup. This is a well-positioned pick in terms of value, where he's going. And you could say that, should they have picked an offensive weapon? They have Aaron Rodgers, but in all reality, what do they need in terms of offense? They've got a great running back. They have 2 great wide receivers. Potentially, they could have picked a tight end. So that's probably something they could have done, but they chose to go defense, and I understand why. Aaron Rodgers is a playmaker, and what they need help with there is a little more in defense. And, Robert Saleh's probably making that right call. Can't blame him for this pick. Wondering what you guys think. Do you guys think it was a good pick? I think it was pretty good. So let's see right now. So now we have the Jets pick, and obviously now that Will Levis has now dropped past the 15th overall pick. So the next will be Washington. This could be an area where Will Levis could get picked. I don't think he will. I don't think the Washington will step on too many toes here. I don't think they'll try to go for a quarterback. They're going to be sold soon. I can't imagine that they're going to do a lot, honestly, here. They're just going to try to better the roster here, but they're not going to try to make any huge moves here, and I don't think they're going to take a quarterback. I think they're gonna see what they got with Sam Howell and stuff like that. So I don't suspect that we'll see anything from Washington. But there you go. You do know what the Jets pick is. Um, so let's see. So the Jets did not pick JSN. So um, I don't think we have any opportunity to get in the first. I don't know what picks we would, because I know if you'd want to get JSN, you do it now, right? Like he would have to do, like, pretty much this is where he's going to go. So if you want to get JSN right now, it's now or never. And I don't think they have the capital to do it anymore. They gave up a lot for Will Anderson. Um, so that's gonna be the issue. Um, so for everyone that said that the Texans wouldn't select our quarterback, my quarterback, CJ Stroud, because of the S2 test. Don't think that's accurate, man. Obviously, we selected them, right? So it didn't matter. Shout out to Cal and Hannah McNair. Shout out to every single person in the Texans organization for so far getting a great draft. Um, can't really complain. I just need a center. That's really all we need. So they are officially about to announce the Jets selection, but hey, you got it here first, folks. I already told you what it is. Let's see. Trying to find out this stuff before get some breaking news here and see what the next selection is as much as I can. And here we go. Try to get this done for you. All right. So the Commanders, they're taking cornerback Emmanuel Forbes. So here we go. We now have the next selection in the NFL to the 2023 NFL draft, and that is a cornerback, Emmanuel Forbes. Christian Gonzalez has not been taken yet. Now, I find that very interesting. But Washington selects cornerback Emmanuel Forbes. And I do think that this is an interesting pickup. It's a great safety. Even if you, that's a point where, like, even if you don't need a safety, it's a great pickup because he's such a great corner. You can't really knock that pick, honestly, in any shape, way, or form. So that's definitely a great selection. You can't get. There's no way that you can knock that pick, honestly, in any way at all. So that's the next selection here. So that again, no Will Levis. So where he goes, nobody knows. We're now on the 16th overall pick, and we still don't have any Will Levis. Um, what do you guys think? You think he's going to get picked in the first round at this point? Um, who knows? I'm not sure if he will. Um, so they haven't officially announced Washington, but there you go. You got Emmanuel Forbes. And we'll see if we can find out any information on the next pick in the 2023 draft. So, of course, we're getting this from Jonathan Alexander. Nick Casario saying, all along we knew we were picking at 2. I don't necessarily believe that. The reports earlier said that ownership had to get involved in order to select that pick. Nick Casario has been known to stretch the truth, so I don't know if I actually believe that. Nick Casario said that the relationship between the Cardinals and the general manager, Monty Ossenfort, was beneficial, so they had built a relationship. There was a relationship already with the Texans with the Hopkins trade, getting David Johnson. So there was some relationship there through the just having some business done. But obviously Nick Casario wasn't here when that happened, and the GM wasn't there. So they had some sort of relationship, I'm assuming. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So right now, Joey Porter Jr. and Christian Gonzalez are falling outside of where they were expected. I had thought Christian Gonzalez was going to be the top corner. I actually may think that if Joey Porter continues to fall, that our divisional rivals, the Jaguars, will pick him up. I think the Jaguars are going to look for Joey Porter. I think he has a potential of being there at pick 24, the way the draft is going. And the Jags may luck out and not even have to trade up. I had it in my mock where they traded up a couple spots. I believe it was with the Ravens in order to get that corner. They may not need to do that at all. So, definitely interesting to see who's falling. Nick Casario, another quote. We're excited about adding Will and CJ to the roster. Yeah, I mean, how can you not be excited about these picks, right? I mean, if anything, the only criticism that you can give is the amount of capital that was spent in order to acquire the pick, so you can get Will Anderson. But if he is what we expect him to be, fuck them picks, man, right? Fuck them picks. So we'll say. Here's another quote by Casario. CJ is a really productive player. He's as competitive as a player and wants to compete. He wants to have an edge. CJ has been an accurate player and he has a long way to go. I think he'll admit that. And so I think that's true. I think that, something I mentioned earlier in the broadcast was that CJ Stroud has issues with playing off script. He has issues playing when the line isn't perfect. So that's definitely going to be an issue with CJ Stroud. I think that's something that he recognizes, and obviously Casario recognizes, and something that Bobby Slowick is going to have to work with. But he already has a relationship with his quarterback coach, Gerard Johnson, and we're going to see him develop. And yes, we're going to see some tough games where he really doesn't play well. That's going to happen. He's a rookie. So don't get upset. It's like, oh, no, we knew it. No, just give him a little bit of time, and I think we're going to see this dude succeed. Frank Perez says, Deuce Vaughn in the fourth with the Cardinals pick or too early? You could take him there. That's not exactly too early. The question is, at this point, because we give so much draft capital, we may not be able to go running back in the fourth. We still need a center and we need a receiver. And those are definitely bigger needs than a running back. We could wait into the 6th or 7th to get a running back. We've got Dameon Pierce and David Singletary. We even have Boone. Now, I think Boone isn't going to see the field at all, but I don't think you take a running back before you take a center or wide receiver. And with the 65th overall pick, you can only do one of those. So yeah, I don't know if we'll take a running back until the 5th or 6th. I actually like Izzy. Izzy has some issues. He has a problem with the vision, but the thing about it is that he actually great value for him. I think that he can be a beast if he can fix his issues on where to cut. I think that he can be a great RB2. And the thing is, because we have Devin Singletary, he's going to start out as an RB3 and he'll move his way back up to an RB2. Give him a year's time. So to me, you take someone in the 5th round as a running back, and then you work on developing him while they learn under Dameon Pierce and Devin Singletary. It's a great way to get a developmental running back. Here's another quote from Nick Casario. Nick Casario isn't worried about the points in a trade chart in regards to trading up for Will Anderson. He felt the organization had a conviction on Anderson. So that just proves that the previous reporting about Will Anderson and the Texans was accurate. So if that's accurate, then you got to imagine what other reports were accurate. So we knew that they were very, very high on Will Anderson for a week now. And apparently it was, the draft day note, get Will Anderson no matter what. That was what they wanted to do. That was their accomplishment in this draft. It seems like Will Anderson was more important to them than the quarterback. I think that's why ownership got involved. But regardless, we got both. I don't know if there's any complaints necessary. So we'll see that. So A.J. Brown is trying to get Micah Parsons to the Eagles right now. That is quite interesting. We'll see what happens there. So a little bit about Forbes while we're waiting for the next pick. The Patriots are on the clock. And we now have the pick. The Patriots take Christian Gonzalez. So I thought this was going to be the actual pick, the actual corner that went first. And no, it was the 3rd corner, Christian Gonzalez. But I think the Patriots I think they lucked out. I think they got. I think they went back. They got extra draft capital, and they got, in my opinion, the best corner in the draft. Um, so we do now have the next pick on the 2023 NFL draft. Thank you guys for watching. Um, appreciate it here. Hopefully Matt can come back when he gets back to the house, but the Patriots select Christian Gonzalez. So that is the 17th overall pick. And again, Will Levis continues to drop. Again, great pickup for the Patriots. Like I said, Christian Gonzalez was my favorite corner in the draft. He has an 81.4 coverage grade via PFF. He was fourth best in his conference in the Pac-12. And he now becomes the 17th overall pick and goes to the Patriots organization. So I wonder if my good friend John Hickman, what he has to say, if he's happy or if he's pissed. I haven't seen anything from him. I'm actually on a live, Landry. But guys, I'm actually going to end this and go on Landry's show. So hop on, Landry. All right. I'll be on in a minute. So guys, go to Landry Locker's live. I'm going to end this and go to Landry Locker's show. See ya in a minute.